They force themselves to rise early in the gray pre-dawn hours. Book 1, Eragon. Chapter 44, the Ramr River, and Chapter 45, the Hadarac Desert. Welcome to Eragon and Back Again, a podcast where we explore Christopher Pauline's inheritance cycle, one chapter at a time. I'm Darien Smartt.
And I'm Lucy Hart.
And I'm wondering if maybe we should cut out the one chapter at a time and just say chapter by chapter.
Right?
Because it's certainly become more of a habit to combine them, which I stand by. I think this is good pacing for the show.
I think so too. Because I was actually just thinking about that, how if we did like one chapter at a time, a lot of the chapters where stuff does happen, but it's like this can be merged in a discussion with the other chapter. Like I feel like the not only would the episodes be pretty short, but also I don't know how much we would be able to talk about.
It's not as meaty a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change it in the script. We're now chapter by chapter.
Yeah.
But before we get into these chapters, Lucy,
Yes.
do you have a spark of inspiration to share?
Oh no, I should have thought about one.
Lucy!
Because I think, last time was the Dragon's World.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do one, but it's not, I don't know if I've talked about it before.
I don't know.
It's been a year, so I'm just going to say, so lately, I haven't been able to write much, and I think that's a lot to do with moving and new job position and me just being tired a lot. But, so having the inspiration to do anything takes a lot of energy these days. And I'm one inside is, I'm allowing myself to be in this stasis of, once I have energy for something, I will do that. Whether it's writing, coloring, puzzles, whatever, I will do that.
Yeah.
But my inspiration is going to be my favorite streamer, Deebeegeek.
Yeah.
Because lately, what's really nice about just being in our own place is I can turn the TV on and I can just have that playing in the background without worrying about it bothering anybody.
Totally. Yeah.
And so what I do is I've had that going, and just to have noise in the background, I will put Deebeegeek's playthrough with Tears of the Kingdom on there.
Nice.
And that has inspired me to actually reopen and restart playing both Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild.
That's awesome.
So I've just been I'm super excited to just go explore and fight stuff, and I already beat the games, but I'm just I want to go explore and just it's also really heartwarming to see. One of the reasons why I like Deebeegeek so much is how much he loves the Zelda series. His first introduction to the Zelda series was Breath of the Wild. Yeah. And it was so cool because he played through Breath of the Wild, and without knowing anything, he's I love this game. The main character is so cute. All the world is gorgeous. He just loves it so fucking much, and it's heartwarming to watch somebody enjoy the thing that you love so much.
Also, what a great introduction to Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Here Walton was considered one of the best Zelda games, if not one of the best games of all time.
Yeah. And then he went from Breath of the Wild and he went back and started playing all of the old ones. And so his reaction to, spoilers for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, it's been a while, but spoilers in case, Fi being in the Master Sword in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and being from Skyward Sword, where Deebeegeek didn't clock that. And then later, after he beat Skyward Sword, one of his mods went through and made a video of the comparisons of Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword, and he flipped his shit when he was like, wait, you're telling me Fi was with me the whole time? Aww. And it literally, I watched it last night and it just made me cry. I was just yeah, I know, D, it's right there, oh my god.
It's very good.
So it's just my inspiration is Deebeegeek, and just giving me the inspiration to enjoy a thing that I've enjoyed many, many, many times before. So.
That's excellent.
Do you have an inspiration, Darian?
I do. Listeners may recall the last episode where I just really held two tall stacks of plates and tried to figure out which one I wanted to deal with. So my spark of inspiration is just the Libby app. Dear listeners, this is an app for ebooks and audiobooks that is specifically linked to your local libraries.
Yeah.
If you have a library card, which if you don't, you should get one. They're in most places totally free to get now. Yep. I remember I think they used to have to pay for it. They used to cost,
yep.
But now it's
oh my God.
Yeah, you could just show up, and I don't even think you need a piece of mail to confirm you live there. You
can literally just ask for one.
Yeah, you can just get a library card. Maybe that's different in other places.
In other places,
but here,
I know here,
but
you
even
just go up
still,
and ask.
I think a lot of places try to make getting library cards as I said. So if you just have a library card, you can put in that information in the Libby app, and it'll link it to all of the ebooks and audiobooks that your library also has. And so then you can check them out and listen to them through the app. You can download them. And so I imagine there are some places where mayhaps this Libby app isn't super necessary because perhaps the apps that are developed for the local library systems are at a point where you can just do that very easily.
Yeah.
But if you live in a place where we live where that's just not the case, or it's a little harder to dig through the catalog on the library's website compared to... It's so great. It's so easy. I've read 18 books in a month from May 24th to June 24th. Like the first day, I was like, okay, I'd used Libby sparingly in the past, but I was like, okay, on another podcast, one of my listeners recommended Portrait of a Thief.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let me see if I can listen to that on audio. And I could download it instantly. And since that time, in a month, I had consumed 18 books.
Yep.
And it's like Portrait of a Thief, which was so good, I recommend it. A ton of Terry Pratchett stuff, like Witches Abroad, and then the first 4 of the Tiffany Aching books. I've listened to Song of Achilles, Legends and Lattes.
Let's go. Did you do Bones and...
I've got one. I'm on a 9-week wait.
Okay,
for
fair
that.
Enough.
That is
they're very popular.
Yes, I've got a ton of Riordan Presents books that I haven't read yet. City of the Plague God.
Yeah.
Y'all, I highly just recommend City of the Plague God. It was so fucking cool.
Ooh.
Like, it's Mesopotamian
Yeah.
mythology with like an Ishtar and Gilgamesh.
Ooh.
No, so cool. I am right now listening to Build a House Around My Body, which is very interesting, very complicated, non-linear, tragic story about these... The premise is like there are two women disappear in Vietnam decades apart, and you see how those two situations, they're both very, very different, but how they are linked.
Yeah.
And just a lot of like magical realism and Vietnamese folklore. It's very cool. And it's a book I never would have picked up otherwise, not because I wasn't be interested in it, but because the ability to dedicate that kind of time and attention to it, I just would not have the energy. Gideon the Ninth.
Yeah.
I was telling you about it, Luce, and Harrow the Ninth. I just finished. I was talking to you about the point of view that was tripping me up. No, when they revealed why it was doing it, it was so cool.
Oh,
like
good.
It was so cool and so good, and the ending was so wild. And oh my god, I'm so excited for. And then I had Nona the Ninth just popped up, so I'm gonna read that, and I'm very excited. So. Yeah, it's a ton of books. And then Circe, I also finally got to listen to. And then Galatea, Madeline Miller's short story. And just a ton of other things that I've wanted to engage with, wanted to read. Haven't had the opportunity, haven't had the energy, haven't been able to track it down.
Yep.
And yeah, so I just, Libby, just like a thing, if you're not writing, be reading. And then it's like, I just haven't really been able to do that. Yeah, I'm just constantly being able to think about the stories I'm liking and why I'm liking them and what I want to bring into that. So, yeah, my spark of inspiration is just the Libby app is very good.
Yep.
Is the thing. So,
Agreed.
Yeah, that's going to be it.
I like it. And it's also, like, I feel like the Libby app is better than Audible in a way because while Audible has, like, thousands and thousands of books available, it is a paid as you go. And Love Libby is, or not Love Libby. Sorry, that's side thing. That's fucking panty brand at work. The Libby lap sounds free. Yeah,
it is because it's the thing, and there is like the trip. Like I saw a reel on Instagram some weeks back that was like people keep saying like, oh, you should use Libby. What? And like wait 20 weeks for being able to read this book. Like, how are you all doing it? Like, how does this work for these book talk girlies? And I guess for that, like, it wouldn't work. Because the premise of like being like a book talk girly is like you're constantly reading what's the latest and hottest thing.
Yep.
And like I've got books like tomorrow I've got a wait list for, and I am currently sitting at 93rd in line.
Yeah.
With an over 18-week wait, but I did start at 144th in line.
Yeah.
So it is. There was like I've also got Most Ardently, which is like a trans reimagining of Pride and Prejudice that I'm very excited to get into. Night Circus. And I have to wait for those.
But in the interim,
it's like also I've currently got 4 other books currently checked out.
Yep.
That I'm still like, I'm getting through. But like, so if it's like, it won't, like the Libby app isn't super if it's something,
it's not immediate.
It's not immediate. If you're someone who's like, but I want to read what the hottest thing is right now so I can be a part of that conversation, it's not suited for that because it's still like libraries don't have unlimited copies of audiobooks because they're the contracts with the publishers where they buy them from, they still have to treat it like it's a book.
Yeah.
They only have so many they can loan out. And after X amount of uses, they have to get rid of it and buy a new one.
Yep.
And they treat it like a book has worn out. So there's like complicated situations when it comes to like loaning and renting ebooks and audiobooks. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm listening to Build Your House Around My Body right now. Next, I'm going to finish up. I want to do None of the Ninth. I've also got Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yes!
I'm finally going to be able to do.
I'm so excited.
And then one that popped up called The Candle and the Flame, which deals with Jinn and Middle Eastern folklore that I'm very excited to get into because I've never read anything about it before.
Did I ever recommend, there is a Jinn story book that I read, The Copper City?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
Let me see. I pull up because I'm going to read the fourth one. It's called the Daevabad trilogy.
Okay.
The first book is The City of Brass, Kingdom of Copper, The Empire of Gold, and then The River of Silver. And it's a really good read. It gets dark. It is a bit gory, but there is sex, but it's not like explicit.
All right, City of Brass, I am fourth on the wait list.
Yep, it's very good, and it has like Jinn and all the different types of Jinn, and I found it very interesting.
Nice.
I also find that just like a small snippet, like most Jinn are like recognizable as human kind of esque.
Yeah.
The Myrrh are not.
Interesting.
And it's like creepy as hell, but it's so cool. Nice. But anyway.
So yeah, that there was my unpaid promotion for the Libby app. But it's for real great, y'all. I just can't recommend. Also, it like supports the use of your local library, which is so very important. But yeah, it's great just being able to like finally there's like so many books. Like I knew I'd like Terry Pratchett. I just never been able to like sit down and and now I got to read like and they're amazing and like the idea like Terry Pratchett's approach to witches has super influenced the way I want to handle the fantasy characters in my draft. So spark of inspiration. I like Libby. I don't like that we once again have a chapter starting with them waking up. Look, here we are. Yep. And yes, it's not just Eragon. So I guess maybe this only half counts as a they woke up.
Or maybe a third because it says they, so that could be Eragon, Murtagh, and Saphira.
That's true, but it is still a chapter in which we begin by everyone waking up.
Yep. But before we dive in, synopsis?
Thank you, Lucy. I totally almost spaced. Shall I do them both? And then we can just...
I do them both, yeah.
Okay. The Ramr River. 3 days after escaping Gilead, and the elf woman has yet to regain consciousness. But there's little Eragon, Saphira, or Murtagh can do for her. With soldiers hot on their heels, the party aims to cross the mighty Ramr River. Then, the Hadarac Desert. Traveling through a desert is a dreadful ordeal for everyone who isn't a dragon.
Yep.
While Eragon is able to draw water from the earth, tensions still run high for the human travelers. But on the horizon, the massive Bior Mountains loom, and with them, the hope of finding help in Serta for their elven companion.
Yep. I know this, like, the mountains are, like, way in, like, chapter 45.
Uh-huh.
I love those mountains.
They're great.
They're so fucking cool, but holy cow.
I was very like, oh, yeah, mountains.
They're mountains.
Yeah. And it's like Eragon grew up in a valley. So he's not like, it's not like he grew up on the plains and then like, whoa, mountains. But like, it is, like, we grew up in the Rocky Mountains.
Yep.
But when I saw the Sawtooth Mountains for the first time,
you're like
they look jagged and broken.
Yeah.
Like, it is surreal.
It's very cool.
I mentioned the last episode where it's like, oh yeah, she has like the elf woman hasn't woken up and that concerns him.
Yeah.
I was my bad. I had read ahead.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, it's this one.
Yep.
And this is where
they also tie.
This is also where they tie her to Saphira's belly. So I just got it. My wires completely crossed.
You're good.
My bad, gang. So,
what I like about this is like, I do love the image of the elf's head being nestled between Saphira's front feet.
Yeah.
Just like the little head right here.
Just,
it almost reminds me of like those front baby carriers
a
little bit.
She's just in a baby Bjorn.
Like yeah, exactly. It was very funny.
So funny. No, yeah.
What I really like about this chapter is that not a lot happens,
Mhm.
but I love the river. It
Yeah.
doubles back on itself,
Mhm.
which I find so cool because they
Mhm.
said the river's on their right and then also their left. And I'm like, that's
It just
so
curves
weird.
at some place.
Yeah. I just like,
what
that's so cool.
that's not standard river behavior.
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
Yeah, exactly.
They know they're being followed. They can see the smoke from like the soldiers' camps.
Yep, from behind
And
him.
I love Murtagh's whole thing. He's like, Murtagh's eyes sparked dangerously, a tight smile lifting his lips. He glanced back the way they had come, where smoke from the soldiers' camp was clearly visible, and said, I always did like races. Murtagh!
That's
Okay,
such
man,
a
let's
good
roll!
line. That's
Yeah.
such a good line.
Like, this is someone who is very comfortable with being under pressure.
Yeah.
Like, very much kind of like, he finds the chase of like running for his life exhilarating. And
Also,
you're like, my God.
Yeah, agree. And I was actually thinking too, like, this is the first time since Eragon set out that he is being chased. Like, he was doing the chasing,
Mhm.
and I feel like they were fairly leisurely, like him and Braum.
They'll
were-
like hide and stuff. But yeah, they've never been chased.
They never were discovered and chased.
Yeah.
And so now, and then even when he joined like Murtagh, like they were pretty leisurely until Gilead,
Mhm.
where they were discovered, and now they are being chased. So there's also like this sense of like looming danger over them, and it's like that's also like you can see it. The guards like way back like chasing them, and even when they approach the new city, they have to skirt it during the night. I can't remember the town's name, but they have to skirt it because like Bullridge, yep. And they have to go around because word has gone ahead of them.
Yeah, there's soldiers patrolling. Yeah. I like when they're traveling and Eragon keeps thinking of it. He's like, we're traveling with an elf. That's wild.
Yeah.
Like, what? He wondered what Rowan would have thought of that. It struck him that if he'd ever returned to Carvajal, he would have a hard time convincing anyone that his adventures had actually occurred. And I'm like, Eragon, I would hope with the dragon with you, everyone would just believe everything you have to say.
With the dragon and tail, I mean, yeah, that's kind of hard.
You rescuing an elf woman was the least unlikely detail of that story you're telling with your dragon best friend. Like, what? But I really liked that detail of him thinking about what would my cousin think about this? What would anyone think? Like, no one would even believe I've experienced all these things. Like, for all the things that Eragon has gone through, he is at his heart, like, still that kid from Carvajal.
Yeah,
like, that has not changed in him yet.
Yep.
And the idea that it also is telling that he's still like, it's like if he ever returned to Carvajal, but he can still see himself someday returning to Carvajal.
Absolutely.
And that is very like telling, right?
Yeah.
He's like, doesn't know, their future is uncertain, things are crazy, but he hasn't forgotten where his home is.
Absolutely.
And I like that.
I do too. I really, really like that. It's very heartwarming.
Yeah.
But then a lot, like they're traveling, not a lot happens. But then they finally get to the Ramr, and I love how they cross it. Like, I remember like when we were talking about how we couldn't really remember anything from when they met up with Murtagh, something.
Major plot,
Yeah, major plot. And for me, it was like, I do remember Saphira carrying the horses across the river. And I do like how they approach it too, especially when Saphira goes to grab one of the horses and he sees her like big talons. He's like, hold on, we need to protect the horse's soft tummy. Like,
yeah, I love, because it's like they get to the river and it's like, it's so wide they can't, it's like half a mile across. They can't swim it. And
it's very fast and very deep.
Yep. And Eragon is one that suggests like maybe Saphira can carry him across. And Murtagh's like, I don't know about, like, basically he's like, my horse is not as used to Saphira. Like, he's gonna freak out. Let's find a shorter distance.
Yep.
And they just can't. There's nowhere that is shorter or safer.
At least within like short walking distance that they don't have to travel, and it's like they don't have time.
They're being followed by the soldiers. Exactly. They have to get across.
Yep.
So Murtagh relents, and he's like, okay. He's like, I will go across first so I can watch the horses.
Yeah, which is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I also like the trust here too, where he's like, I better go first so I can watch the horses. He scrambled onto Saphira's saddle. Be careful with Tornak. I've had him many years. I don't want anything to happen to him. Then Saphira took off. Like, just Murtagh being able to scramble into Saphira's saddle, and both Eragon and Saphira being like, totes okay with it.
That's not even acknowledged. Like,
it's not even like Saphira was grumpy about it or anything. She's like, nope, yep. Like, that's so cool.
This is the first time. Eragon doesn't even think about seeing Murtagh on the back of Saphira. He just is like, the elven woman's tied to Saphira.
Yep.
So Murtagh will cross. And also with the comfort, it doesn't play like Murtagh probably had to be on Saphira's back at some point in time when they were trying to rescue Eragon. Like, they may have had to both go in the air. Like, it was done with such an ease. Like, he had to scramble up there.
Yeah.
But there wasn't, like, there was no negotiation. There was no thought of it. Like,
well,
that's not true. They all were on Saphira's back when they got away from Gilead.
Yeah.
I spaced on that detail. So it does demonstrate that Murtagh and Saphira have developed a sense of like camaraderie with each other, where she doesn't even like make a big deal about it, and he doesn't either, where it just demonstrates that like they trust each other. And we've gushed about how much we're like delighted by Eragon and Murtagh's like bond and how they trust, but it's like it also reflects in how Saphira views Murtagh too.
And it's like, because like when Murtagh joined them, they were both kind of wary about it, and now they are at this point where there is trust there, and it's so like cool to see. Like
Eragon and Saphira trust Murtagh to be alone with Saphira and this elf woman for however many time. And that also we know that Torak the horse is Tornak the horse is so important to Murtagh. And he like says like, don't lose my horse. But he trusts Eragon to look after the horses on this side with the soldiers.
And even though he's worried about Tornak like freaking out with Saphira carrying him, he still trusts Saphira that she won't hurt him. His concern in that is that Tornak will freak out and harm both of them. Not that, well, what if Saphira hurts?
He's like,
he's just worried about
freaked by this.
Exactly. So he trusts Saphira as well with his horse. So I just love it so much.
And then when Saphira comes back, they, like you said, like Eragon uses the mind link to try to calm him down, but it doesn't really work.
The fear is totally blocking him out, and the horse is like screaming. Not great.
And it takes a little bit longer for them to come back. And Saphira says, Murtagh's silly animals in hysterics. He had to tie Tornak down to prevent him from running away. And meanwhile, it took him a while to be able to like get Tornak and carry him off. With Snowfire, Saphira should say able to lift him. And the horse isn't jazzed about this.
No.
Like, he's not super happy. But he doesn't freak out nearly as much.
Exactly.
And then finally, Saphira comes back. Eragon's able to cross with her. I think it's very interesting that that Eragon was the one who was left on the other side of the river with the horses.
I thought that was interesting too. It makes sense because Eragon had to stay with the horses until they were all transported, just as Murtagh had to stay on the other side to receive the horses. But I do like that Eragon was left last.
With the soldiers. I think they all knew that we have enough time. But the fact that Saphira was okay with leaving Eragon on the side of the river where they knew the soldiers were, compared to on the side of the river where they potentially don't know what the dangers are, could reflect that like the danger we know is better than the danger we don't. But it also could be that Murtagh recognized it's going to be difficult to get. He's like wasn't sure he could handle seeing his horse be so upset. Trying to help Saphira, he knew like Eragon will be able to like maybe comfort the horse and do magic, and like Eragon and Saphira would be a better team to get the horses across than he and Saphira would have been, because they could actually talk to each other more successfully.
I agree. And it's also for me also like Saphira not insisting Eragon go first to be like, okay, now you're safely on the other side away from the soldiers. I think that has a lot to do with the danger known and danger unknown. But I do like Saphira understanding and also like realizing the logic in the way they did things too. And I think the last big detail of this chapter, which happens a little bit before they cross the river, is where they acknowledge that, hey, Saphira observes to Eragon, this is the third night since we rescued you from Gilead, and the elf still hasn't woken. I'm worried. And she has neither drunk nor eaten in that time. I know little of elves, but she is slender, and I doubt she can survive much longer without nourishment. And I also like this where, what's wrong? Asked Murtagh over Tornak's back, where
the silent exchange, right? Saphira maybe just like looked at Eragon as they're getting ready to leave, but Murtagh is, and it wasn't a long exchange, right? But Murtagh has become they're so accustomed to each other that he could clock that Saphira was probably telling Eragon something, and he could tell that, like, hey,
Eragon was like, oh no,
something's wrong.
hurry.
What is wrong? And he's like, it's the elf. Like, she hasn't woken. And they discuss that, like, maybe the shade tampered with her mind. Maybe, she's put. I like Murtagh, where he's like examining. As far as I can tell, she's only sleeping. It seems as if I could wake her with a word or a touch, yet she slumbers on. Her coma might be something elves self-induced to escape the pain of injury, but if so, why doesn't she end it? There's no danger to her now. But does she know that? Asks Eragon quietly.
Yep.
And they're like, listen, we can't do anything for her now.
Yep.
We gotta keep moving.
Yeah, we have to keep moving.
Mm-hmm. But Eragon does... Stop me if you've heard this one before. He gets some cloth and actually squeezes some water into her mouth, which is like, good. Yeah. It took you 3 days to clock this game. We've been through a lot, I recognize, but...
Yep.
He did that several times and dabbled above her straight, angled eyebrows, feeling oddly protective.
Yep. There it is.
Stop me if you've heard this one before.
Yep.
It's like, okay. Anyway, but I like them like acknowledging that her still being unconscious is not normal. Like I like that these two young men are intelligent enough to clock, like, oh, it's not just because like trauma and injury. They're like, there's clearly something more going on
something
here
else,
that we don't know, but also we can't figure it out right now.
Yep, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then I love the way this chapter ends is they had reached the Hadarac Desert.
Yeah.
I don't know why, that just is so like...
It's very like a strong, impactful, like beat ending. Yeah. The desert is hot.
Yep. I also love this first line too. A vast expanse of dunes spread to the horizon like ripples on an ocean. Yeah. And I'm like, that's so freaking cool. I love it so much.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Bruno Sand Dunes?
I have.
Yeah. Yep. So like, dear listeners, it's sand dunes that are some hours out from where we live. It's a bit of a trek, but it's still like, we live in a desert, but we don't live in a Sahara, desert, right? Like, Sahara means desert. I know that, but y'all know what I mean. Like, we don't live in
we're not like in a desert.
Yeah, we're in like it's not like a sand you would view as like an Arabian Nights Egypt. Yeah,
it's not even desert. Like a Arizona desert, but it's still
like
desert.
It's like a Looney Tunes desert, a little bit, right? But there are the sand dunes, so I like being able to, like, I've seen that, the not just on TV, but like the sand, but still the expanse of it going on and on.
On and on is like very intimidating. But I do like how Eragon's worried about the horses finding food. And Murtagh's like, see those? Asks Murtagh, indicating the crags. Grass grows around them. It's short and tough, but the horses will find it sufficient. Because that was my worry too. I was like, they got their water out, and then they got food for themselves. But the horses, it's like, nope. There's like little crags and little tufts of like really tough plants.
There's
so
vegetation.
Like,
it's not the ideal vegetation. But they're not planning on staying in the desert.
Yeah, and they're not even going like completely through the desert, like into the dunes completely. They're cutting across a very short expanse.
Yeah, exactly. Just to try to get to the mountains. I love Saphira is jazzed.
She's living her best life right now. Oh my gosh.
They sit down, they're like already like Murtagh and Eragon are like, Eragon's like, my throat hurts. It's hot. Let's just take a break for a little bit. And so when they lay down and Saphira coiled up next to him and spread her wing over them. This is a wondrous place. I could spend years here and not even notice the passing time. And Eragon's like, yeah, it'd be a nice place to fly. Not only that, I feel as though I was made for this desert. It has the space I need, the mountains where I could roost, and the camouflage prey where I could spend my days hunting, and the warmth. Cold does not disturb me, but this heat makes me feel alive and full of energy. And Eragon's like, oh, you really like it that much? Yes! Then when this is all done, perhaps we can return.
And then she just starts humming, like, she's like, yes.
Yeah, she's like, yes,
yes, please.
We have not... I think the last time we saw Saphira, like, happy like this was when they were playing in the lake. Yeah. That was so long ago.
So long ago. I know. I really like that. And I also like that she is able to shade them with her wings, too. Yeah. So they're not completely exposed to the sun. I don't know how, like... cool that would be, because if she's like absorbing this heat and her internal stuff is like fire and warmth and stuff, I don't know how cool that'll be, but it's better than probably the direct sun.
Yeah, it's funny because like it's like the way she mentions, like it's like, oh, she's a reptile.
Yeah,
like, is the thing. And while she's like, she says the cold doesn't bother her, like being in like a cold climate would bother. Like she's literally hatched in the winter.
Yep.
And that didn't bother her.
Yeah,
like
that's
it
what I was
would.
gonna, like she grew up in like midwinter.
Yeah, but still just like, I love this indication of like this may have been more of a natural environment of where the dragons lived, like closer to the deserts, where it's just warm, and there are mountains where they can like roost and like have this. But like she mentions that the prey there is camouflage, meaning it is more difficult to hunt, and that is exciting for her. Like that stimulation and the challenge of the hunt.
She would spend, what she says, she could spend days hunting, right? Yeah, and she's like, hell yeah.
And so I like that. She's like so happy to be there.
Yep.
And it's like, oh yeah, like it gives us kind of an inkling on like dragons are still creatures of this world.
Yep.
And perhaps once upon a time the desert was full of them.
Yep. Can you imagine just dragons just spread out on those dunes?
Yeah,
just sunbathing,
like reptiles.
Like, yeah,
and just all
absolutely.
enjoying the warmth of the sand
with their
and
wings
the
all
sun
spread out and stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, but you know, it's not quite as chill of a time
for the humans or the horses.
For the horses.
I do like how like when they start. Sorry.
No, you're good.
When they start off, I feel like everyone's still in a pretty okay mood. Like. Murtagh's very much like when after they've rest there and they could see no soldiers, they start traveling again. And Murtagh is like, I hope they won't be able to follow past Bullridge. The Ramr was an effective way to lose pursuers. There's a good chance our trackers won't be found again. Something to hope for indeed, said Eragon as he checked on the elf. But then he also says, like, that's when they start talking about how the Razak could be following them. And that's pretty scary too. But I do like how they're both like still pretty cordial with each other.
Yeah,
they're still talking.
Hope.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at the bright side, we're gonna look at the positive.
Yep.
And then like the
next page.
Yeah, down the next paragraph break. They've traveled quite a distance, right?
They're doing really good pace-wise.
Yeah, but it is hot.
Yep.
And talks about Eragon is like the back of his neck and his face are sunburned.
Ouchie, ouchie. And he's probably sweating so much, and he's probably super thirsty and exhausted because heat makes you so tired.
And so they're setting down to make camp, and Eragon asks, how far do you think we went? I don't know, snapped Murtagh. We don't have enough water, and the horses have to drink. Like, it is the first time Murtagh has ever been anything but, like, perfectly, like, cordial in a situation. Like, even when he's like, I don't want to talk about it, like, he's always, but this
he's
first time
been very polite.
He's never snapped at her.
He's never snapped. Like, I don't know.
Why are you asking me? Why are you asking?
Matter? Let's just get the water and get moving.
His skin was red, his eyes bloodshot.
Yep.
Eragon was just as irritated by the heat and dryness, but he held his temper in check.
Which I find at first, I feel like Eragon's very. I mean, maybe that's not too fair, but I was like, of the two, I would expect Eragon to have been more snappy and Murtagh a little more like calm. But I do like how Eragon recognizes that he's like. It's not it's not Murtagh, it's not me. It's just the heat, we're getting really short-tempered. That's okay.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm not going to respond to. He just bring the horses over, and Eragon pulls water out from. Saphira digs down deep for him.
Yep, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that was really smart.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Eragon pulls water up. The horses are able to drink. They're able to get some water. But then he has to let it go, and he acknowledged that just holding the water up like that did take a lot more energy than he thought it would.
Yep, but I do like how he says that that is within his abilities to do, rather than turning a thimble of dirt into water. So he's like, that was impossible. This is doable.
Yeah, and I also like how he thinks about how he once struggled to lift the pebble. Like, I do like that we get a reflection on like, oh, Eragon has grown
so much. Absolutely. I also do like his reasoning as though the ground was parched, there was enough moisture for the plants to live on and enough for him to fill the hole several times over. So where we were worried about like the desert is desert, like we don't know how much water is going to be, but it's like, no, that's a good point. There are plants need water even a little bit to survive.
Yeah.
So there was enough in there to fill the hole several times over. It's like, oh yeah, I feel like they're good on water as long as they don't walk into the dunes, because I don't think they're like in
they see the dunes.
Yeah,
Now they're at a point where they don't even see the dunes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good. But the thing about the deserts is it also gets stupid cold at night.
Yep.
So it's freezing the night, sweltering the day. They wake up the next morning.
It's freezing.
Murtagh's mood had not improved with sleep, and Eragon found his own rapidly deteriorating.
Do you think it'll be long before we leave the desert?
We're only crossing a small section of it, so I can't imagine that it'll take us more than 2 or 3 days.
But look how far we've already come.
All right, maybe it won't. All I care about right now is getting out of the Hadarac as quickly as possible. What we're doing is hard enough without having to pick sand out of our eyes every few minutes.
Yep.
And just all right, maybe we won't. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I do like how Eragon, I feel like, maybe like their age shows, because I mean a couple of years difference. They're like 3 years apart.
Yeah,
2
like
years
I think
apart.
like Eragon just turned 16.
Yeah.
Talked earlier, it looked like Murtagh was like maybe 18, 19.
18, yeah. So I do like Murtagh's just angry and Aragon's kind of whining a little bit.
Yeah.
He's just like, but we've already come so far.
Yeah. It's
What
like,
do
how
you
much
mean
longer?
a couple
I don't know,
more
2 or 3
days?
days. We look already. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know, dude.
Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know why you ask. I don't have an answer. I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah,
Like,
I do
it's
really
so
like that.
relatable of like getting snapped. He's like, I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're asking me this.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's not like Eragon doesn't actually expect Murtagh to be able to give him an answer. He's just like trying to like.
Yep.
That's all he can think about. And Murtagh's out here like, stop asking me questions.
Stop. It's like the
I don't know.
are we there yet? Are we there yet? Question. And Murtagh is like, stop. And then Eragon reflects a little bit on the elf.
Yeah, still unconscious.
And she's still unconscious, and he's confused because he remember, and like that's something that keeps popping in my head too, is like when he entered her cell, she was very alert and very like defiant, and now she's like this. And so it's like, I think that kind of going off what you were saying is like, it's interesting that she hasn't woken up yet because she was alert. Yeah. Like 4 or however many days ago it was.
And when Eragon would, at the times he was like dreaming about her and would see her, she was like awake. Yeah. Right? And
I think except the one where he saw blood dripping off of
her.
Where
but she was unconscious.
She's been.
So she's usually, so it is odd that's like, if be sleeping for a long time, needing to rest after her deal, of course, but like not gaining consciousness at all is definitely like something, and it is odd, but they don't know why, and they have no resources or time or ability to interrogate what is going on.
Absolutely, because it's like she's not stirring, she hasn't been like twitching, she's just been in this like deep sleep. And that's just like interesting, because it's like, again, like I would expect like somebody stirring, rolling over, moving, like in any indication that like coming aware, coming like to consciousness but not quite breaking it. Yeah, but she hasn't been, and that's a little unnerving. Like it's definitely like, what is wrong with you? So
yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's like it is like there is a problem, but they literally can't fix it right now.
Yeah, and it's like, and I think that's a good thing. Like there is a problem, but they can't stop right now.
And then in time, they see Eragon thinks like maybe there's hills in the distance.
Like purple lumps, indistinct purple lumps.
And in time, he realizes, oh no, those are mountains.
Yeah, because he sees the purple lumps, and then above them, the air above them was pale white, bleached of its usual hue. All colors seemed to have been leached out of a horizontal band of sky that lay on top of the hills and extended to the horizon's edges.
And what they had taken to be hills were actually the bases of gigantic mountains, scores of miles wide. And the sky being white, that's just the mountains covered in snow.
Yep.
He's like, oh, he's like, they're so massive. And even Saphira's like, I feel like a hatchling again. Compared to them, even I feel small.
Yep. And I do like how he's just like, there's no end to them, he thought, awestruck. And then, sensing his wonder and surprise, Saphira followed his gaze with her own. And that was when she was like, holy cow. But I do like that connection of her sensing that from him and like turning over to
check it out.
Yep.
I'm pulling up the
map
because
I love the map.
I haven't referenced the map, and I'm just in my head wanting to okay.
I don't have it. Oh, I do have a map. Yes. Because you can see the Ramr River.
Yeah,
how it doubles back.
River.
Yep.
This is Bull Ridge. This is where they cross. So this is they literally are just crossing this corner.
Yep.
So they can see the mountains in here, and so they'd have to cross and then double back to get into Smartt if that's where they decided what. Because that's when they see the mountains, Murtagh mentions that it'll be good to find some shade and spend a few weeks in leisure. I've had enough of this forced march. So we've a big pivot from, I've always liked to race.
Yeah.
It's like,
So,
okay, I'm tired.
He's
The
like, I'm
desert
ready.
sucks.
I'm ready for it to be over.
Mountains are great. I'm tired too, admitted Eragon, but I don't want to stop until the elf is cured. Or she dies. I don't see how continuing to travel will help her, said Murtagh gravely. A bed will do her more than hanging beneath Saphira all day.
Yep.
And that's when Eragon's like, maybe when we reach the mountains, I can take her to Serta. It's not that far. There must be a healer who can help her. We certainly can't. And Murtagh, we can talk about it later. For now, our goal is to reach the Beors. There, at least, the Razak will have trouble finding us and will be safe from the Empire.
Yep.
Because it seems like the mountains are not really part of the Empire.
I don't think so. Or at least they're too vast to, attempt.
Yeah, it's like way in Carvajal. It's like part of the Empire, but it's deep in the mountains. It's so far out from the grasp of it.
Yep.
This one is probably the same thing where the mountains are so intense and wild that the Empire literally has no power or authority in there. Because there's no bases.
And it also would probably require a lot of resources to monitor those gigantic, very large dragons. Because it's so we get a sense of how big, if looking back at that map, we get a sense of how big the plain was. And we can see the plain is just this little teeny bit right here.
Yeah.
Then we look at the Hadarac Desert and it's significantly larger, but we look at the mountains, the Beor Mountains. The Beor Mountains is both larger than the plains and the desert.
Yeah.
So
and the mountains keep going off the map.
Yep, exactly. So it's that would take a lot to try to monitor and keep those in check.
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much.
It's so good.
It's so good.
And finally they get they're getting out of the desert. They're in the sun. There's a cool breeze.
Yep.
Herds of gazelles bounded through lush fields of waving grass. Eragon caught Saphira eyeing them hungrily. They camped by a stream, relieved to be out of the punishing Hadarac Desert.
Right.
Which is I love, you mentioned the previous chapter ends with they had reached the Hadarac Desert, and then this next chapter is relieved
thank
to
God.
be out.
They're out of the Hadarac
It's
Desert.
another beat. They're
yeah.
thank God.
Yep. And I'm glad we didn't stick around in the desert for more than a chapter.
didn't need to hang out in the desert for a very long time.
I do appreciate Paulini not dragging that on, because I'm pretty sure it could have.
We could have interacted with maybe bandits or something.
Yeah, something else could have happened.
Struggle, and it's
we could have been Saphira hunting.
Yeah.
Could have been them trying to travel at night or having
it's just not. I'm not interested. I'm glad we did the desert thing.
Yes.
It makes sense because they're trying to get to the mountains. They're willing to. It shows our characters the stakes are higher. We're willing to put themselves in more precarious, difficult, terrain and situations to continue forward.
Yep.
But now I've got more pressing matters, right?
Yep.
Eragon's supposed to try to get in contact with the Vardens somehow.
Yep.
We've got this elven woman who's still unconscious. Maybe we got to go to Serta.
Yep.
There are things that I am more interested and invested in seeing
Yep.
than us hanging out in the desert longer than necessary.
Absolutely.
So, I completely agree on that. What is a good writing takeaway?
I love the desert aspect so much.
Listen, the description was good.
Yeah.
Right? But I also appreciate that we didn't get constant.
Yeah.
But I set a strong setting the stage. I think that opening chapter, the way it set the stage for the desert, was done in such a way that constantly, just mentioning the heat and the sand, we didn't constantly need every detail, every scrub and skeleton of something or whatever, dry, arid. Just, it was a strong enough, we set the scene very strongly, and then we're just in it with the heat and the discomfort and the irritability.
Yeah, and I also think, compared to the Ramr River, is they came from so much moisture into not at all. I think that was a really good, what's the word?
What is that word?
Comparison?
Contrast?
Contrast.
Yeah.
It was a very good contrast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I really like that. And again, I think that helps set the stage too, because it went from moisture to, and then they reached the Hadarac Desert, and you're all of that is back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, taking the time to set the scene.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the same thing as spending 10 pages just describing everything about the desert.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's the book you're writing. But sometimes all you need to do is just spin a beat to set the scene, and then that'll carry you the rest of the way.
Yep. I agree.
I have I think a fun, I guess, homework assignment for the listeners. Hey, what's your favorite world map?
Ooh.
We mentioned maps way back in, but since we literally like referenced the map, both of us like looking to be like, where are we actually?
Yeah.
Like, what's this look like? Does anyone got any maps in books or just like canonical world maps?
Yeah.
That you like top of the mind, I think of the Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Oh, yes.
Map where you see it shows up in the beginning, like long ago, the 4 nations lived in harmony. And you see them all laid out, and the poles, and the Earth Kingdom, and the Fire Nation, and maps. I think I way back when, like, listen, there are 2 kinds of readers. One who gets excited when they see the map at the beginning of the book, and one who goes, oh no. So, maps.
Maps. I like maps.
Yep.
I like the Lord of the Ring maps.
Yeah.
Very good map right there. All maps are good. I'm very much a map reader.
I can go 50-50. I think initially when I see a map, I'm a little bit like, oh god, is it going to be a lot of terrain, a lot of describing the things, a lot. And I feel like either I have Stockholm syndrome and I have just come to accept this is the reality, or as the text went on, we've gotten a little less of like, yes, the Ramr River had a name, yes, the Hadarac Desert has a name, but like those things are so massive and grand and specific that I'm like, of course they have a name.
Yeah.
Whereas, or maybe it's just gone fewer things constantly getting names and I'm like, I don't care. I'm not going to remember. But like, when it's so important that it's the name of the chapter, I guess it doesn't bother me because I'm like, of course, it's so important it's the name of the chapter. But it's like early on where I'm like, I don't need to know this river's name. It's just the river. Like, stop this.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I've just gotten used to it, whether it's happening fewer times, like whatever. It no longer bothers me like it did.
That's good. Yeah.
But yes, dear listeners, please share your favorite fictional maps with us.
Yes, please.
I love it. And then maybe what is it? I guess I can't really articulate why I suddenly have more affection for it. Maybe because it's useful.
Yeah.
Like I was able to reference the map and try to, in my head, figure out what is it actually looking like in a way that I couldn't have before. Or the Avatar map, I think is just such a strong way to start. It instantly tells you this is a world.
Yeah.
This is a whole world you're in.
Yep.
As a very strong start.
Yep. What I like about, and I think I mentioned this, we're going off on maps right now, but what I like about, and I think I mentioned when we were first talking about maps, is you can see how far they've come, because you can see where they were at Drash Leona, and then you can see Gilead, and then from Gilead, the way they have traveled, and then how much far, just like from here to here, it's like, holy cow, that's like 2.5 inches, maybe 3 across the map. That's like, holy crap.
Massive. It's
massive.
They're making great time.
Yep.
To what? We don't know yet, but hopefully we'll find out soon.
Yes. Exciting.
Yay. Thank you all so much for listening.
Thank you so much.
Unless you had more, Luce.
Oh, I was just going to say with the next chapter of A Path Revealed, we're hoping so.
I would hope so. Yeah. That's very much like, okay, A Path Revealed, right. We usually don't mention the next chapter titles, but like that is very much like, ooh, here we go.
Here we go.
Something's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Let's run it.
Yep.
So thank you all so much for listening and joining us for another episode.
Yes.
Obviously, you can hit us up if you listen on Spotify. You see the question. Please, feel free to hit us up on Instagram if that's where you hang out. You can email us at eragonpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Actually, this would be a great time on Instagram or your email you could also potentially attach the maps specifically.
Oh, yeah.
So we can see them. Or honestly, I think the prompt will be like, what's your favorite fictional world map? But if you've designed a map for your draft, your D&D campaign, like if I know Lucy, you've done maps with the dice method before. Yep. Like if anybody has maps that they want to see or share with us, we'd love to see them. If anybody wants to see Lucy's map, ask. If anyone asks for it, we'll drop it in the Instagram story, right, Lucy?
Yes. I'll take a picture of it. I'll have to find it, and then
if she can find it. But you have to ask for it. That's the
big thing.
One person has to be like, map, please. Lucy, map, please.
Lucy, map, please, of my world.
Right.
Maybe that'll inspire me to get back into that writing.
Hey! Help Lucy get back into her draft by saying, map, please.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. And until next time, she's Lucy Hart.
And she's Darien Smartt.
And this is Eragon.
And back again.